Hello and welcome back to Nonic Nonsense, a show that is protected by our non-union rep, Patty Lapone. I am Kat Gold. Today, Michael Matadomini is not with us. He had something come up, but we have a very special guest. Actor, performer, does it all, tech, stage management, literally does every single thing in this fucking industry. And I love him so much. It's Frankie!
Hi.
How are you doing, love?
I'm good. How are you, my love?
I'm good. We're on our little baby break before Cali.
Woo!
I'm so fucking excited for California. Like, do you have like stupid shit planned?
This is going to be my first time ever in California.
Same.
Um, I know me and you have chatted about potentially Disneyland.
I'm going.
As two people who love Disney World,
Yes.
Disneyland needs to happen.
I'm going. So, come
Beyond
on.
beyond that, I'm staying at our lovely girl Catrice's house,
Yes,
um,
yes.
with some others. So we're
Mm-hmm.
going to be going to Sacramento, I think San Francisco for the day one day. So
Uh,
I've seen a couple of the bigger cities,
oh my God. You guys are gonna have so much fun. Me and Noah are elderly, so we're staying in Monterey.
which is going to be a lovely, lovely time.
We're gonna go to a national park. We're gonna see some big ass trees and not party with the youths like yourself.
Listen, I try, but me and partying,
It's hard. It's hard, especially like during Disenchanted, because the show is just so involved for everyone. Because it's such a small little groupling, which I want to get into Disenchanted later. Anyway, let's stop talking about Disenchanted right now. We have so much Disenchanted talk that we can get into. But I want to ask, like, how the fuck did you get into this industry? Like, how did you get into performing arts and theater and stuff?
I feel like everyone who does theater has like that one show, that one performance
Mm-hmm.
they saw when they were young and that really sold them. That were like, I want to be doing that.
Yeah, yeah.
I tragically have one of those.
What is it? What is it? Say it.
Annie Jr. So
Iconic.
keep in mind, I am 10. Me in fourth grade
That makes
watching
sense.
my sister, who is in sixth grade, who
Mm-hmm.
is cast as Molly in Annie
Love.
Jr.
Sixth grade Molly. Wild statement, but yeah.
Sixth grade was the youngest you could be. It was like our middle school was also weird. It was fourth grade through eighth grade.
Oh.
So sixth graders through eighth graders could do the musicals.
Mm-hmm.
So I had to wait.
Oh.
They love to do Disney Juniors.
Yeah. That like one act version of your it's like how they do like Into the Woods Junior, and it's just like happy ever after.
Thank
Bye. Nothing bad
you.
else happens. Thank you so much.
I've seen a lot of those middle school productions, and honestly, I love watching them for fun.
Yeah.
They crack me up.
It's there's something really wonderful about watching, like, and I mean this with so much peace and love, like kind of shitty performances.
It's real because I mean, at the end of the day, like everyone, like for like 95% of the time, watching people's like pure passion on stage, whether
Yes.
it's good or not,
Yeah.
which I like very similarly. Like I say this out of the love of my heart. I love her, Trisha Paytas, like how she just had her Broadway debut. watching like the ushers' faces in those videos of like them watching her singing like Shallow.
Yeah.
They have no idea what they're watching, but you know what? She is living out her biggest dream right now. And you know,
Yeah.
that's very similar vibes to that. So I'm like, I I live.
I love like a kind of just like a little I love the kids' performances because they're just like they're so like they're having an existential crisis on stage a lot of the times. There's like the two or three that were like, this is my entire personality and existence, and you could feel that reverberate in the space. But then there's like people that are like are dealing with stage fright actively, and they're becoming hyper aware that they are a person on a stage under lights being watched by 100 people. And there is something really just like, wow. It's a sickness, but I do love that.
Very kindly that happened in one of our middle school performances. Not to
Oh
me,
yeah.
but Little Mermaid Jr.
Mm-hmm.
I'm Prince Eric. Off stage.
Icon.
Our friend who was playing Sebastian
Mm-hmm.
forgot the words to Under the Sea.
No.
I'm not kidding you. Stood on stage and just went for the entire song. And we'll just say Under the Sea.
Reminds me of, yeah, have you seen the video of the kid? I think he's like a college student. They're doing like a 24-hour theater performance of Beauty and the Beast, and he's just like, try the gray stuff, it's delicious. This is France, and like literally he's just like jumping, just repeating the same lyrics over and over in a loop, and every dancer on stage is going like, what is happening?
We'll do the rest. Shoot to play, hot hors d'oeuvres. Try the great stuff. It's delicious. It's great stuff. After all, you can ask just dishes. Babe, no prayer, negative pattern. And cabaret, we are scared and drove home. And you come into our house and we will prepare you a feast.
So I can imagine just like under the sea, do 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 do, and just like this, and the entire ensemble going.
They had no idea. Like, missing entrances. I'm backstage. I'm screaming the lyrics as the diehard Disney fan. I'm like, I think my parents were in the audience one of those nights too. Like, I'm like, this is, and like, me being older now, like, I would have paid good money to watch that performance.
And that is why every performance should be recorded. It's too good. I love that shit. But like also like it is the fucking performer's nightmare. Have you ever had a moment on stage where like you completely like hit the white room and just went like where am I?
I said yes. Um, in college,
Mm-hmm.
my college did a performance of Puffs,
Yeah.
and I was brought into why from what I was told is that one of the actors left school because he got his girlfriend pregnant. I don't know if that is actually true, but he
Love.
ended up dropping out of college.
Yeah.
So I ended up getting brought in
Mm-hmm.
very shortly after the fact, and I was like, all right, I've never seen Harry Potter at this point in my life,
Yeah.
living under the Catholic household that I lived in, no witchcraft. I couldn't watch any type of like Harry Potter type show or movie. So, um, I had no idea what the plot of this was, and then I realized that I have to play a 13-year-old child as a 21, 22-year-old. And I went,
Mm-hmm.
how do you get into the mind of a young child? To be just like carefree, silly, goofy.
Yeah.
I got high. Tell me it's not perfect. I was just like the most carefree, silliest little boy. I was one of the only like American kids in this Harry Potter world.
Yeah, yeah,
But the last performance, the whole show was just entrances and exits,
yeah.
sprinting on and off stage. I made it my mission. I had my pen backstage. That every time I would go off stage, I would hit the pen once. By that point, I've hit the pen probably 40 times by the time the final scene came around. And I walked on stage arm in arm with my friend who's playing my wife at this point in the show. We're walking out there and I look at her. I'm like, so what are we gonna what? Huh? I just stood there like cracking up. Mine instantly went blank. My like own inner thoughts started like self-projecting, and I'm like, so what school what like what house is she gonna be in? Literally talk about like what Hogwarts house is our child going to get into?
And your stage partner couldn't help you out of that?
She was laughing probably more than I was. I was just like, what is happening? I had no idea where it was. Like it was too many times.
Oh my God, that is fucking iconic. Update to the Lynn kids that are listening, the Lynn University kids. Don't do that.
No,
Don't.
I'm a very rare breed. I don't support doing that. No one really should ever do that.
Oh my God. Speaking of another thing that like you should not do. So I don't know if I told this story on the pod yet. And apologies to Sarah Shock, who will definitely listen to this, my professor. um, so we would do Rocky Horror Picture Show, right? Every year. It was like a big fundraiser and stuff for our school. And so we would do two performances on like it was like around Halloween time, whatever. And it was like an 8 p.m. and then the midnight showing. And it was really cool because we would have like a local drag queen come in and play Frankenfurter and stuff. It was like lit. And so my senior year at college was the first time we had done it. No, it was the second time we had done the fundraiser. And the year prior, I had been a Phantom, but this time I played Magenta. Now, um, we were bad children, and we had a break in between the two shows. So we did the 8 p.m. show, right? We behaved. We did the show as written, no improv. Let me also just say that like this was a shadowcast version.
Yeah.
So like the movie was going, we were performing it, whatever. Anyway, so the theater, the other local theater would do the stage show every like year or something like that. So we couldn't be doing the exact same production in that space, but whatever. So first show we all behaved. The second show, because we were all seniors, everyone that was basically in that show was a senior, and Sarah Shock, funnily enough, was playing the lips in this, so she was in the show with us. She did not know. Maybe she didn't know, or maybe it was just we were less obnoxious than like because something happened later on after I graduated. But with that event, so we decided to leave campus and go to the Tom Thumb gas station and get like the big gulps, and we just filled them with liquor, and that was our go-go juice in between shows. And so cut to the midnight show. And once we hit time warp, the show has gone off the rails. And by the finale, I love telling this story. My little was playing Janet. The floor show is happening. She rips open her corset, nipples to the audience. At the back of the theater. So we got the head of the theater, the department head. We've got the technical director, and we have two cops there. And so they all apparently went, "Oh my God, she just did that. Is she allowed to do that?" The cops were like, "Do we do we step in for indecent exposure?" But I guess because of the rating of the movie and the fact that she was, I think she was a legal adult, it was allowed. I think also other people ended up nipples out mid show. It was like people started really simulating having sex on stage and in the floor. It just like went so far off the rails because these children were plastered. But apparently later on, I think maybe 2 years after I graduated, these kids decided, I don't know if it's because they saw what we had done, but we were very quiet and chill. We wouldn't bring open bottles of liquor backstage. These kids brought full like handles of fucking liquor onto the college campus, like their bottles, and like brought them into the dressing room. Like no hiding it whatsoever. And so they got shut down. They all got in trouble and shit. And like I think maybe they've come back now. But like they basically were like, no more for you because you can't behave yourself.
I don't support doing shows like drunk or like on liquor unless it's like drunk Shakespeare, which
Yeah.
we should do a drunk Disenchanted.
The thing is I'm sober now.
Very fair. Very fair.
Maybe I'll like participate in herbal ingredients and then everyone else can participate in booze and then we can try to make it happen. But that would honestly be so fucking funny.
Or better yet,
Mm.
Disenchanted After Dark.
Oh,
The scandal. Even more scandal, even more sultry, slutty.
how could we be sluttier than we already are in this show?
I don't know. I feel like at this point it's just nudity.
It's full frontal. I can't.
Jonathan would kill us.
I mean, yeah.
I feel like in one world he would kill us, the other world he would be joining in, having the most fun of his life.
No, Johnny would no, Johnny would be like, don't do it, don't do it. Be like,
No, don't do it.
just like peering out, like watching the chaos, like giggling, but like, no, he's far more mature than you and I. But kind of going back, so what school did you go to college for? At?
I went to Georgia College and State University down in Milledgeville, Georgia.
Lovely. And what was your degree in?
It was a lovely BA degree in theater.
Oh, oh yes.
The
So like,
overarching.
yeah. So when you were was it like during college where you like were like, I'm gonna try every single avenue and I'm gonna work in every single avenue of theater and not just like be like me and hyper fixate on like one thing.
I even to like bring it back before getting into college,
Mm-hmm.
when I was in high school, I was watching my friends that were avidly applying to all of the musical theater programs across the country,
Yeah.
doing self-tapes.
Mm-hmm.
Terrified me.
Yeah.
The age of 17 when we were having to do all of that stuff. I was not at the point where I felt confident enough in myself as a performer, singer, actor, dancer, person to put myself out for colleges to determine my entire career.
Yeah.
So I went, all right, I'm going to go to a college that I don't have to send in like a self-tape audition, so I could just sign up and just do theater because I love it.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
So honestly, I really didn't know too much about a BA degree pre going into college. So once I kind of got there, I was like, oh, it's kind of everything.
Yeah.
So by that point, I was like, okay, I've always loved acting, always loved being on stage, singing, dancing, not so much, but we make it work. Do something. So like I ended up just kind of signing up for classes just to
Yeah.
fill up, and I ended up taking classes in lighting design, stage makeup, costuming.
Hmm.
Um, I think everything but like props and sound are the only two things I never actually tackled.
Yeah.
I was getting paid by my college to work in our costume department for like 3 semesters.
Hmm.
And I'll just sit there for like an hour or two every week,
Yeah.
altering, maintaining,
Hmm.
doing little tasks. Nothing ever too crazy.
Yeah.
Um, but specifically like with what I've learned, like I am so happy to have done a BA degree
Yeah.
instead of a BFA degree. I see the benefits of a BFA,
Hmm.
but with what I've learned with me as a stage manager, with me out in the world now,
Yeah.
being able to clearly communicate with people in every single aspect in every department
Yeah.
in their own language makes me so much more, I would say, like a better candidate out in the
Very valuable to the
exactly.
field, you know?
Because like if even if someone doesn't have the answer, I can possibly come in with at least the right vocabulary. So it's not like I'm just making things up.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
But
Yeah,
yeah,
no. I think sometimes, I mean, let us know, Lynn kids, because we know you guys are the college ones. But like, I feel like a lot of students, like when they're at that age, um, it's like an all or nothing kind of situation. But there's so many avenues to getting an education in this field, whether it's collegiate or not, that can benefit you and get you fucking doing the thing. So it's nice to hear, because I feel like a lot of the people that we have on that come in for interviews, it's either like the BFA or no schooling at all. And a lot of the times it's not people that also have the technical experience. Yeah. It's I tell people all the time, like if you're in high school or college, like you need to study every everything. You need to just work at your university every semester, pick a different fucking department to work in. Do
yeah,
hang lights, work with mics, like do costumes, hair, makeup, whatever. Assistant MD. There's so many like assistant stage manage, like house manager. So many like things. Do props for a show, like where you learn so much about all the moving pieces that like make this thing work. Because
absolutely. Like
like the performers are a very small percentage of like what we've got going on in any given show.
and I feel like very much with like me and you who are both performers, both of us with Disenchanted are using our technical skills at the same time,
Yeah.
day in and day out.
Yeah.
Um, but specifically with like college,
Hmm.
how I started stage management in particular was
Yeah.
in our first round of shows for our fall semester. I auditioned, it was like 3 shows. I auditioned for all 3 of them at once and did not make the cast for all 3 of them.
Yeah.
And I'm like, oh no, it's my first semester at college. I didn't expect to get cast. I was very realistic even back then. I was like,
Yeah.
you know what? I still want to be involved somehow.
Hmm.
We were all hanging out. The theater community at my college was very close knit. So
Yeah.
we were all hanging out and we were all getting ready to go to like a bigger theater party at the someone's house at the end of the night. So we were at someone's apartment and we were all playing a game and me and the stage manager started talking and they ended up coming up to me and saying, "Hey, do you want to be my assistant stage manager?" And I went, "I have no idea what that means, but yes."
Yeah.
Literally no idea. And they kind of just told me that I was going to be going around and doing occasional tasks. I'll be doing some blocking. And I was like, okay. Well,
Yeah.
but that by that point, I was getting involved. By the end of that production, our director, who was the head of the theater department, looked at me
Hmm.
and told me that I could stage manage any of the main stage shows by myself.
That's crazy.
I was like, I've never done this before. Like this, there's a
Yeah.
lot of imposter syndrome that happens with me, especially with that being my start. I'm like, because like my high school didn't have any type of, we had like a backstage right and a backstage left
Hmm.
head supervisor, ASMs,
Hmm.
but like they didn't call them that. There was no like actual stage manager. Once going to college, completely different beast.
Oh yeah. And you start seeing how like how the sausage gets made. I
Uh,
mean,
Crazy.
so now I know you've also like is stage management now like your home base from now on? I know that you had recently like done stuff like performed at like Surflight and stuff. I was just trying to figure out like what's the path like for Frankie?
I would say, as of the current moment, the
Hmm.
major goal is to, I say this out of love. I love you, mom and dad. My goal is to get out of my parents' household. That is number one goal.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
I'm right now in talks with one of my friends to move into an apartment in the city.
Ah,
Hopefully in September, October.
nice.
A lot of this comes down to if I have enough money to do it, and
Hmm.
I will.
There you go.
If anyone would like to make a donation, I will provide my Venmo. Anyone needs like a sugar baby, like literally anything, like I swear, like get Frankie to New York.
What happened to like the old style patrons of the arts that would like sponsor like a performer or a person in the field and just like pay them to do their art?
Exactly.
Where's my patronage?
I ate the world's hottest chip for the chance, not guaranteed, the chance to win $50. It's like I would do just about anything. Like, come on.
Don't tell them that. They'll use and abuse it. You can't tell them that.
I need to be in New York.
Oh my god.
We gotta.
Anyway, um, just to keep things kind of moving forward. So I mean, we got to talk about Disenchanted. How 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 did you get involved with Disenchanted? Because before, when we first started this thing, you were the ASM. Tell your lore about this.
So before we ended up making it to Pearl Studios in
Mm-hmm.
August,
Yeah.
dating back to probably like January, February-ish time frame when the
Mm-hmm.
tour was first announced. I worked with Jonathan back at Surflight Theater,
Mm-hmm.
social media friends, and we had a good relationship while we worked there. He's an absolute angel.
Yeah. We
Uh,
love Johnny. Johnny, if you're listening, we love you.
Jonathan, I love you. He ended up he made his posts that the tour was actually going to come into fruition and that they were going to begin everything probably August, starting up in the fall.
Yeah.
So I shot Jonathan a quick text message and just texted him saying, "Hey, I'm really happy for you. I'm really proud of you. You've been talking about this tour and this show for a good amount of time while we were at Surflight."
Yeah.
And I ended up texting him just saying, "Hey, like if you end up needing someone to do tech for the show, let me know. I'm available." By this point, I was back at my parents' house working as a server at a slightly upscale restaurant.
Hmm.
So I was ready to move on and away.
Yeah.
And it worked out very well timeline wise because I was working at Stage Door Manor up in New
Hmm.
My last day there ended, and the first day of rehearsals for Disenchanted was the next day. So I had no break between my summer job and Disenchanted day one. But
Yeah.
so yeah, all of it started with me just kind of sending Jonathan a quick text message and just saying like, if you need anyone to work on the tour, let me know. It moved from text message to a phone call to an email chain to an actual sit down interview with,
Hmm.
I think it was Jonathan, JB, Jordan, Marcy, Kristen,
Okay.
someone else. It was like a big group of
Our
people.
team. Yeah.
Our team from Eminem.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um, and from there, I got offered the job as an ASM, like you said.
Hmm.
So I I got brought in,
Hmm.
came to New York, and started that first. After that first week, I was told that our stage manager, could no longer be with us, and that they were avidly looking for a new stage manager. Um, I have experience in stage managing. A lot of my stage management experience is with middle schoolers or high schoolers,
Hmm.
not adults, not people that have been in the industry for a good decent bit of time.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Um,
I mean, we're basically children,
but
so.
nonetheless, like it's the same thing. Ended up getting a text message. If I'm not mistaken, I think I got a text message like asking me like if I was like for sure confident that I would be able to stage manage
Hmm.
with a national tour that considering I've never toured in my life.
Yeah.
I was like, yeah, yeah, I'm pretty confident.
The secret to theater is having just a little bit of delusion.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely.
It's just being like, well, yes, of course I can do that. And being like, how the fuck do I do it?
Yeah, no, so we ended up fully switching into the roles. I think if I'm not mistaken, I know there was people kind of like within our tour that was kind of being like, I would be a good candidate. I've already been in the rehearsal room for that whole first week. I've done the show. I've watched a full run through at that point.
Yeah.
I already had all the blocking. I had all of the previous stage managers, binder, script,
Yeah.
calling script, all of the necessary documents to move forward as a stage manager. I had
Yeah.
in my possession already.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I think genuinely at that point in time, it made more sense to hire me in as the stage manager and look for another ASM rather than look for another ASM or another
Uh,
stage manager.
yeah. It was also like the time constraints because I think at that point, this happened like right before I had joined y'all because I missed the first month. I'm still shocked that I was hired, considering that it was like, hello, hi, I can show up for exactly 2 hours one day, and then I can be there like right before we go into tech. And they were like,
Per
thank God I've done this show now 40 million times. But yeah, no. So that happened like like September.
It had to have been probably like first, second week of September.
Yeah, because I think yeah, because when I came in, yeah, it was like think I came in the first or second week of September for that like that 1 2 hour rehearsal. Because like before, I had been messaging our original stage manager, being like, "Hey, oh, I was wondering about can I get this, just because I was learning via Google Drive." And then at a certain point, she was like, is this going to forward this over to Frankie? Frankie will now be stage managing. I was like, okay, let's go.
And I'm like, hey girl, we're at Pearl.
We're at Pearl. Let's do this thing. Let's put up a princess show.
We're at Pearl 406 today.
406. Pearl 406. Always there. Always
That was
there.
the first time ever stepping foot into Pearl Studios too.
Really? Yeah, no. I'm trying to think. I was just happy it wasn't Ripley. No shade to Ripley, but thank
I've
God it was Pearl.
I've seen pictures of the interior. That Ripley is the really unique one, right?
It's a really kind way to say. Is that the one that looks like it's like Miami in 1980?
I was gonna say like a child like
Yeah.
pediatrician's like waiting room office with like all of like the tigers and like mist colors.
Ah, Ripley Greer.
We love.
Oh my God. But no, I have to, we have gone through so much fun stuff, bullshit, all sorts of things in Disenchanted. Tell me what are some of your funniest stories? I'll say that. Funniest stories of fucking Disenchanted.
Um, I think one of my favorite stories that's happened so far is
Mm-hmm.
in the Sprinter van because I was driving in the box truck for the
Mm-hmm.
property of the Northeast.
Yes.
From on the way, I think it was either, I think it was back home to, I don't know where we were driving,
Mm-hmm.
somewhere in Pennsylvania.
That sounds about right.
Um, we were listening to music. We made that whole playlist,
Uh-huh.
and one of I think it was one of Lady Gaga's songs came on,
Yeah.
and Emily looks over at Joe, the driver, and looked at him and said, "Joe, you better put your fucking paws up right now." That one killed me. I think about that at least once a day.
You better put your paws up. I was sitting right next to Emily when that happened. I was just like,
like that that is an iconic quote. That one, who want to kiss? That's a new favorite. That's a new all-time.
can you tell the story about who want to kiss?
So Eileen ended up joining in as Little Mermaid for that was North Carolina.
Mm-hmm.
And if I'm not mistaken, I don't know if this happened on stage or if it happened in the rehearsal at the hotel or while we were
I
respacing.
think it was both.
At a certain point, um, at the end of the song, Two Legs ends
Listen, Eileen learned this track in 2 hours.
in literally 2 hours. So like the fact that she did that
The
is
Queen.
A plus effort, iconic queen shit.
Yes.
Um, so you're supposed to like kind of like go talk to the front row and be like, so who wants to kiss this girl? Like poking fun at the Disney movie of Kiss the Girl.
Yeah.
And didn't continue of this girl's and just said, who want to kiss? And like And people are like clapping, applauding, still like hooting and hollering, but like I was up in the booth in hysterics because that was insanely funny and iconic. So Eileen, if you are listening, I love you so much, and you amaze me, and your comedic timing is fantastic.
I think the best part is I can't remember who had this conversation with her, but like they went up to her and was like, "Oh my god, you improving Who Want to Kiss was so funny," and she went, "Is that not the line?" That
Um,
the audience interactions have been so wild in this show. Also,
I feel like a lot of them are hit or miss, but like
yeah,
the majority of them have been fantastic.
I'm so interested to see how California is going to react to the material, especially when we're in Torrance, which is literally we got a couple shows in Torrance, and like it's literally like from that venue, it's like 35 minutes to Disneyland.
It's like a 25-mile radius to Disney.
And so like I just can't wait for us to do the "We used to like Anaheim" and just see what the reaction is going to be in California to this material, because like Tampa, Orlando was so feral. I can't wait to see what how Cali is going to react to the material.
If I were to make a prediction right now,
Mm-hmm.
this, this will probably be coming out before we make it out to California. I have a feeling they're gonna eat that up.
It's so funny how like some states and some cities are just crazy, and then some states are just like, woof, I can't get out of here fast enough.
Yep.
But yeah, no, but I'm excited for Cali because I think they'll have a similar vibe to like how Florida went, and we'll just eat it up and love making fun of the Walt Disney Corporation
Oh,
and all the storybooks.
it'll be a great time.
Tell me, of all the jobs that you've done, other than Disenchanted, tell me any that are like iconic and or chaotic.
Um,
Stage Door Manor. I
I
want to
was
know about Stage Door Manor.
I was gonna say it was either gonna be Stage Door Manor, or I was gonna ask you if it was gonna be theater related, or do you want like any job?
I want theater related.
All right, work. So Stage Door Manor.
Mm-hmm.
Um, how I kind of got around with Stage Door is that this was summer going into my senior year of high school.
Also, just for the audience, can you tell us what Stage Door Manor is for the people that don't know?
Of course. So Stage Door Manor is a lovely pre-professional summer theater training program
Mm-hmm.
for kids ages 10 through 18, where it is a 3-week long summer sleepaway camp.
Mm-hmm.
Kids from all across the country and even abroad come to be a part of a show. Like with their tuition, if I'm not mistaken, you're guaranteed to be a part of one show.
Mm-hmm.
You take classes when you're not in rehearsals. You rehearse every day. There's downtime for also like hanging out with your friends, for socializing. There's a pool. Um, I have like dances and socials and
Mm-hmm.
things to do. Um, and they do three-week long sessions.
Yeah.
So it lasts for us as employees the entire summer, but for the kids, they could either do one session or two sessions.
And as a person that has not worked there, I can say this. I feel like Stage Door Manor, and my friends that listen to this podcast who have gone there will give me shit for this. I believe Stage Door Manor is where celebrities and rich folks send their kids to go play pretend.
I'm not gonna say you're wrong, but you're not wrong. Um, but on top of that, like those kids, like I say this and I said this out loud in front of my bosses and in front of everyone that first at the end of the first summer.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
When I told my mom and dad that I got a job working at a summer sleepaway camp where Frankie, is going to be personally responsible for the welfare, physically and mentally, of children, they laughed in my face. And like, I wish I was joking that like my parents had zero faith in me. I I outwardly talked about how much I'm just not a kid person.
Yeah, yeah.
I recognized very slowly, like, I ended up getting put with a lot of the older kids, so I'm with people that are seniors in high school. At this
Yeah.
point, I was 22, 23.
Yeah, yeah.
I'm like, I'm only like 3 or 4 years older than some of them. I'm
Yeah.
like, oh, this is not as bad as I thought it was
Yeah, yeah.
by any means. Ended up building up some like fantastic relationships with some of those kids. Like they are
Yeah.
some of the most talented kids I've ever seen, and it makes sense why a lot of those kids and celebrities that got their training at Stage Door end up going on to Broadway and things like that because they're talented people
Yeah.
and they just continue that training on and on and on. So like it's crazy to think that I am a part of those kids' stories about part of like helping them learn and grow because I was also teaching stage management at Stage Door.
Hmm.
So like being a part of their lives and getting the chance to share what I've learned and I was able to talk a little bit about Disenchanted before I was even a part of the show. So like
Yeah.
they were so intrigued specifically with someone who's done acting and someone who's does the technical side of theater and recognize that there is a chance and a career that you could do both.
Yeah.
Um, but specifically, with Stage Door, they every single 3 weeks they put on about 10 to 14 shows.
Jesus.
And like it is, I don't know, like the hit movie Camp
Yes.
is filmed on Stage Door Manor's property. Uh, that is one of my favorite movies of all time. I watched it before I went.
I was literally gonna bring up Camp. I was like, basically Camp.
It's if you haven't watched the movie Camp, look it up and go watch it. It is iconic. But that is what the past 2 summers of my life has been from the counselor side of things. I was like the second in command of the male identifying dorm.
Hmm.
Um, over the course of my time at Stage Door, I have stage managed 6 of their main summer shows.
Hmm.
The Lightning Thief
Hmm.
with the youngest kids.
Yikes.
The world premiere of the high school edition of Ride the Cyclone.
That must have been fun having done it.
It was really cool to work on it from the opposite side.
Yeah.
I loved getting to see it. It's such a crazy technical show. And like with it also sharing the space, that show shared a space with Bear, a pop opera.
Not the high schoolers doing Bear Pop Opera.
Let me tell you, I sat in that audience and I sobbed my eyes out for about 2.5 hours straight.
I almost did that show.
That's
Was hired for that show, and the show ended up getting canceled.
that is a dream show.
I
That
I still want
my
to play it, Nadia. Yeah.
my life on stage, growing up gay in a Catholic household. I didn't
Hmm.
go to Catholic school, but oh, those characters are me.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Oh,
So good.
I did High School Musical.
Hmm.
I have never felt old in my life until I did High School Musical at Stage Door Manor because all
Hmm.
the kids were born after the movie came out. Like I remember having watch parties with my friends and like we all got together at my house and we watched the first High School Musical.
Yes, I remember
High School
watching with
Musical,
like my cousin when the premiere of High School Musical, the iconic DCOM, came on the Disney Channel.
these kids weren't even a thought in their parents' heads yet. Like, are you kidding me? I collapsed on the floor in front of them all. And we pulled out the DVD for High School Musical and we put it in someone's laptop and we watched High School Musical with the whole cast because they didn't know it.
Where they're like, "Is that how all these people got famous?" Yes.
Yeah. We're talking about the iconic choreography. They're like, what are you doing? And we're like, you don't know what that is? You don't know how to pop to the top? Slip and slide and ride that rhythm? Like,
Hmm.
what? Oh, too like too many times Stage Door has proven that I am old. And I'm only 24.
Yeah.
Kids have aged me.
You are a baby as a 30-year-old. And the people that are like 30 plus that listen to the podcast and listen to me talk about how elderly I am are like, shut the fuck up. But like, it is funny how old you become in theater because the young people just keep coming and they're getting younger and you are just getting older.
I honestly, until this very moment, I never put that together. That is
It's it's crazy.
wild.
Like, so like a lot of people that listen to this podcast are from the South Florida theater region because like that's where I got my start and where Michael is currently. And so a lot of the times people there that aren't older will listen for Michael because, they're working professionally, but they did not know me when I was doing everything there.
Gotcha.
So they're like, does Cat do Florida? What does Cat do? Cat is unfortunately a Carbonell loser. And but that happened so many years ago, and that's why no one knows who I am anymore.
Hey, listen, don't worry. At least you were Carbonell nominated. Frank Mastras over here is not even a Carbonell nominee. Don't you worry. You got that up on me. Hey guys, Carbonell Awards, if you want to reach out to me, I am very interested. I don't think that's how it works, but you know what?
You gotta do shows in South Florida and then have the panel decide to recommend your show, and then they send the panel to the show and decide if they want to nominate you, and then they do a whole voting process, which everyone that knows me, Michael won't say it. Michael's not on this podcast. I can say whatever the fuck I want because Michael's not here. but but I don't care for the Carbonells. I think that it's better now, but like I think that some of the ways they've handled things and some of their judges running their mouths and telling people if they're going to get nominated beforehand is bonkers. And I understand, like every theater region, which I've learned, every theater region has its own drama. Like coast to coast, no matter what state or area you're in, there's all sorts of drama, and everyone believes that the drama is better when you leave that area and you go to somewhere else. But it's just because you're new and you're not involved in the drama yet. Like it's not.
Yeah.
So the Carbonells, whatever. They'll never nominate me again because I run my mouth too much. It's fine. I'll live. But oh god. Yeah, no, I've been nominated for awards and I will never win, and it's because I run my mouth. I have one award, and that was because it wasn't like a competition one. They just decided to give me one. Because if it was a competition one, and then it was a panel of people, they would all review the things that come out of my mouth and go, "Do not give her a plaque," which is why I built mine. But yeah, no, ugh, this fucking industry. But enough about that stuff. Tell us, Disenchanted is about to close, right? We've
Yes.
got we got two more venues, and then we are
Um,
done with the 2024-2025 tour.
mhm.
So tell me, are you allowed to talk about what projects you've got coming up this summer?
I think so.
Hey, spill.
I made the post on Instagram a minute ago, so if I wasn't allowed to do that, I mean,
Hey,
kind
you're
of
fine.
we're fine at this point.
This is
Uh,
for the people that, are listeners that may not know you.
of course, it's for the
Yes.
cool kids.
Mm-hmm.
I am going to be one of the non-equity stage managers
Mm-hmm.
at Maine State Music Theater for this
Hey.
summer.
What shows are you working on?
I don't know necessarily if I'm working on all the shows or just two out of the four of the main shows,
Mm-hmm.
but their main summer season consists of Footloose,
Mm-hmm.
Tootsie,
Mm-hmm.
West Side Story,
Oh,
and
rough.
Anastasia.
Hey.
I think there's also two like TYA youth performances as well. I think it was Wizard of Oz and Snow White? Question mark? One of the princesses.
Are you gonna be triggered doing a princess show that's not Disenchanted?
I I wouldn't say triggered. I think it's gonna make me reminisce and make me yearn. I yearn for the princesses of Disenchanted while I'm away. Like
You'll be
y'all,
watching real Snow White and you'll be like, and just one more moment.
I'm, like it's gonna be so bad. Like I'm gonna be like singing through all of the songs back like wherever I am located. I think I might be on deck for those, but I'll be
Under your breath, big tip.
doing the choreo. I'll be paddle turning till the cows come home.
I can't.
Watching a kid singing hi ho.
Hey ho. Hi ho. For the people that watch Disenchanted, if you know, you know. So what we like to do is because we do have a decent amount of like professionals, young professionals, college students, and stuff, and some of our Michael and I's collective students listening in. Um, if you were to give one piece of advice to people looking to start a career in theater, what would it be?
Um, I might have like one or two different little pieces. I think I kind of touched on
Yeah.
earlier.
Mm-hmm.
Gaining a knowledge specifically if you the listener right now, if you are an actor primarily and like mainly focus on being on stage and performing and singing and dancing, I think it is very, very wise to also get the knowledge of what all of the technicians do backstage in all of their specific crafts. I think kind of like with what I mentioned that like I got a BA degree, I was able to learn a little bit of every single aspect of theater.
Mm-hmm.
Thereby, I'm able to talk about and do just about every single aspect. I have now a knowledge. I can talk about it. I can just keep saying talk about. I said that about six times right there. Did you get me?
Yeah, but like we can edit this. I mean, we're running long anyway. There and there were like pauses and shit. I'm not stressing.
I figured as much this was going to be a one take type deal.
They never are. Half of the time, I might leave this in just so like the audience can know this. Half the time we have people come onto this fucking show and say the most horrendous things, and then the cognitive thinking kicks in for them, and then they reach out and they're like, can you please cut that out of the episode? So there, don't worry. It was a little bit easier to hide back in the day when we didn't do video as well, but now that we do video, you could see like the little cuts, but I don't think anyone gives a shit because like, you know, this is what it is. It is a two-person production over here running this podcast, and most of this is run by me, edited by me, social media by me. I will, so if you got a problem with my cuts, fuck you. So don't worry about that. But yeah, no. To the listeners, people say horrendous things, and we have to cut. There was a couple episodes where we had to cut like 20 minutes worth of footage, and then there was one episode which we talked about with our friends Ryan and Noah that had to be scrapped and will never be released.
I like to use the phrase that my brain is mashed potatoes.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of the times, well, I'm in the middle of talking, I forget what I literally just said about 10 seconds before I was
Yeah.
my train of thought.
Yeah.
That happens to me way too often. It's a problem.
Maybe it's because you're so overwhelmed because you're doing 47 jobs at once.
Is it that? Or do I smoke too much weed? The world will never know. Dun dun.
And you know what? On that note, we're gonna wrap up this episode. So Frankie, if you're open to it, tell the audience like where they can find you, like your socials and stuff.
Of course, if I'm not mistaken, I am on Instagram. It is at Frankie Mastras.
Mm-hmm.
My TikTok is not like it's not it's just for shits and giggles. So like it's not worthy of being plugged yet.
Fair enough.
If I come back on the pod at another point in time, maybe my TikTok will be better.
There you go.
Now, just on Instagram.
Yeah, there you go.
Friends, you can get my Snapchat.
Don't be weird and just be a rando and ask for the Snapchat.
But we
Don't
can
be weird. But anyway, so thank you so much for listening to Anodic Nonsense. We come to you on your dark days, on your Mondays. Next week, Michael will be here, and next week we will be having the incredible Jennifer McLean. You met Jennifer McLean at the cast party.
Yes.
Yes, so Jennifer McLean will be coming on the week after this episode drops. But to everyone listening, we'll see you next week. Stay happy, stay healthy, no COVID.